He hits the guardrail and keeps on moving, plowing through the water on a road that is closed. But the sign does not stop traffic on this flooded stretch. Ward Boulevard in Wilson with an abandoned car and a cattywampus Isuzu. But that doesn't stop traffic either.
It says closed up ahead, but I'm just following traffic.
Are you worried about your car getting through there?
Not really.
Off she goes to take the plunge. Hope she won't need a tow truck.
Going around the barricades could cause more accidents.
Did you have any problem getting through the water?
Right now I didn't. I'm on the pickup truck, of course.
At midday Tuesday in Wilson, parts of 4 main roads were closed, including this one, Downing Street.
We in a low-lying area. The drain can't take it. It ain't but so much that can go in there.
It's the intersection known for Bill's Barbecue, and there's a waiter walking in the water. He might want to turn. On Forest Hills Drive, traffic is moving, but the water is still rising. A time lapse. In 10 minutes, the water rises 2 inches. That could be trouble. Floodwaters might just take it to the house. Here's a worried Wilson neighborhood around Walker Drive. A stuck car and fallen tree, and a yard that looks more like a creek. Meanwhile, back at the closed road on Ward Boulevard, cars plow ahead, but not all of them. You're not going to take the risk?
No, not at all. Not in a Honda.
She's turning around to avoid being swamped. Scott Mason, WRAL News, Wilson. When life throws you to the ground, you gotta get back up. Rodeo riding the same way. Get back up, even if it means sitting back down.
I'm gonna put these bulls in this pen right here.
With help from his dog.
Get ahead, get ahead, get ahead.
Good boy. He's done his job. Here come the bulls.
When I grew up, I just wanted to be a cowboy.
Even as a kid, Jerome Davis wanted to be a bull rider.
I was infested with bull riding.
Hit a hole. Foot came up, got it back down. Come on, Jerome, atta boy.
He entered competitions all over the country and won.
Oh, he made it. What a nice ride.
I put my heart into it, and as it worked out, I made a living with a bull rope in my hand.
Yeah, keep it riding. Don't you quit.
Did you ever worry about getting hurt?
I mean, I watched my friend in '94 get killed right there in front of me. If you're gonna play a man's sport, you gotta play a man's price.
And sometimes that price is the ultimate reward.
Keep it humping. Atta boy. Yes, sir. Pay the man.
What did you think to be the world champion?
That was all I ever wanted to do.
And Jerome Davis did it, the 1995 world champion bull rider. A fella from Archdale, North Carolina, pictured on trading cards. Jerome was at the top until it all nosedived.
He was spinning and he jumped forward.
1998, Fort Worth.
I just fell over his front end and dove in like he'd dive into a swimming pool, and he broke my neck.
Jerome's tough ride was just beginning.
But I knew this time it was pretty bad.
The doctor confirmed it.
I have to tell you the way it is, you're never going to walk again.
What did you think when he told you that?
Well, I mean, you can imagine. I was living a dream. There was nobody that went to work every day that enjoyed what they did for a living more than I did.
So what did he do?
You can't lay around and whine about it. You just got to take the cards you got dealt and go on with it.
Come on with it.
It's a little over 100 head of bucking bulls.
He runs his ranch, glad for his dog who runs the bull.
Up, down, down. I train and raise bucking bulls.
And here come the bulls. What is your goal from here on out?
My goal is kind of like it was before I got hurt. I want to be a world champion bull rider.
He wants to walk and then ride.
Since then, I got married. I've got a good wife. Life is good. I mean, I can't complain.
Don't quit. Here he comes the other way.
He doesn't look back, is stubborn that way. He looks ahead, looks the future in the eye.
You just can't let life shake you. It's an obstacle. You get over it and you go on.
I'm Scott Mason. Welcome to this WRAL special, centered around this race exhibition on display at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences in Raleigh. It approaches race from many directions, including the scientific and historic, and it asks a question that includes many voices in search of an answer.
Race.
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 Are we so
Different.
race impacts our daily lives.
Should not be the focus, should be forgotten.
This is really fascinating. It brings in everybody to have a really important conversation.
Things that we see just in a different light.
I see more conflict, hatred than I've seen in a long time.
Getting pulled over because of the color of your skin.
The hatred comes out.
You know, racism is so deeply ingrained in our history.
It's more in our minds. It's something we've created more as a social structure, and there's so much history around that.
Have you encountered racism yourself?
Of course. You know, why can't I just be a beautiful black woman?
I mean, I don't know if racism could fully be eliminated.
I hope that it's just gone.
Without catastrophic changes in our world, I'm not sure it will happen. It certainly will not happen in my lifetime.
On the days they can talk to each other, we will have a bigger hope for race to go away.
Race. Race.
Race.
Race.
Race, are we so different?
This is a state-of-the-art facility.
Greensboro.
Nanotechnology is the study of things that are really small.
Dr. Joseph Graves and his team.
Samples for serial dilution.
They study the small.
This is where we do our DNA sequencing.
But his studies also involve an issue that is very big.
There are those who would like to think that differences in skin color or differences in skull shape are also the cause of differences in more complicated behaviors like IQ, like morality, and so forth. What our work shows is that we really can't make those kinds of claims at all.
So are you saying that years ago some people thought, for example, if you had darker skin color, that you had a tendency biologically to be less intelligent than someone with a lighter skin color?
People believed that in the past, and people still believe that today. Be aware that the world went to war in the 1940s over people who thought that race was genetically inscribed and that certain races deserve to live and other races deserve to die.
The Nazis and the Jews.
The Jew had to be eliminated because they were genetically inferior, and those genes determined their behavior.
Adolf Hitler.
The Nazi Party wanted to eradicate inferior races from Europe, and to do that, he was willing to carry out the most horrendous measures that we've seen in modern history. Now, the real danger, I was going to say, is that there are still people who think this way. It's not that we have institutional racism, it's the fact that African Americans are genetically inferior. That's their argument.
Do you find that a scary argument?
Let's put it this way. I fear nothing other than God.
Does ignorance scare you?
Ignorance doesn't scare me. What I've dedicated my life to do is to eradicate these things. So I don't think we move forward by fear. I think we move forward by commitment. My commitment has always been to help fight for a just world in which people are treated fairly.
Dr. Joseph Graves, the first African American to have earned a PhD in evolutionary biology.
And that was relatively recently in 1988.
Have you had a good career?
I think I've had an outstanding career, considering where I started. My mother was born in a sharecropper's cabin
in Brunswick County, Virginia.
My father was born in that same county. He landed in Normandy in 1944, came back to a segregated United States. And they taught us to be proud of ourselves, even though we lived in a society that was discriminating against us.
Have you experienced any racism?
My entire career, I experienced racism. My entire life, I've experienced racism. In graduate school, I thought nigger was my second name. They assumed that I was some sort of affirmative action admission, even though when I went to the University of Michigan, I had the highest GRE scores in quantitative reasoning of anybody they admitted in that class.
So how do you live like that?
The way I live is by trying to make the world a better place.
He has been part of groundbreaking scientific discoveries.
And those changes we can literally read in their genome.
Science and race and race. There have been some that say if you're African American, you're naturally a better athlete because it's a biological thing.
That's absolute and complete and total nonsense. who was the most outstanding athlete at those games? Some people would say Usain Bolt, who's Jamaican, but I actually would say it was Michael Phelps. He had more gold medals at the Olympics than any person in history.
And Michael Phelps has done it again!
The idea that one population of people is innately athletically superior to another group just cannot be supported.
What is at the root of racism?
The desire by some people to feel like they are better than others, and they perpetuate racism precisely to make sure that they retain their dominance of our society.
Think there will ever come a day when there is no racism?
Well, that depends upon us. Things only get better when we decide to make things better. That future will depend upon what people are willing to do now. But those things will not happen unless we decide to do it.
Hi, my name is Dr. Lopez. Is that your sister that invited me to the party? My hair is so crazy. I'll help you. Even if they're different colors, they're still friends and they're still nice to each other. Oh, sure, you can sit with us. You can sit wherever you want to sit.
It's not about color, it's about how you act.
Instead of Lego, the artist has put let go.
To make this all go away,
And look at the objects are all in fists.
they are powerful and they can fight through the pain for all ages.
Think positive, not negative. I think people with light skin and dark skin should get along.
Whoa, they're all blue! Part of it is more darker, because that is like something about reverse color or something.
I think a painter ran out of brown paint.
I've been drawing all my life,
Artist William Paul Thomas of Chapel Hill.
and I love images.
He often paints portraits.
Paintings of black and brown people.
And white people as well.
Completely worthy of our love without them having to do anything.
Friends and strangers.
People I run into on the street.
He sees them with an artist's eyes.
Sort of paying homage to this individual by having them like centered on the canvas.
White people, black and blue people.
A bluish tint that develops on the skin if it's deprived of oxygen. I started thinking conceptually about what that might mean, how you might read that metaphor of them having bluish skin.
Deprived not only of oxygen.
Certain rights, being deprived of sense of safety.
Her. She looks happy, she looks proud.
It might not be written all over them what they're suffering from.
Him.
Je suis génial.
The words are French.
Adding in some element that's sort of unexpected.
Subtle sophistication.
Je suis génial. I am great.
I am me.
So those are the same men. That's the same man twice.
Holding hands.
Solidarity.
Love.
But what does it mean to love oneself?
Or love one another. White, black, blue.
You get to decide what that blue represents to you.
The art of William Paul Thomas.
Love painting.
Whose paintings honor people and acknowledge race. And it is race we all face.